Hey folks, and welcome to the Hot Sector Report for June 3rd through June 9th. What we're going to focus on today are pollution stocks. And what I mean by that is, for those of you that don't know, the United States is the biggest polluter in the world. Yet, emerging markets such as China in fact will overtake the United States in pollution very soon. Now, I don't know if some of you have read articles, but there's been major issues regarding the upcoming Olympics between air pollution in China and water pollution in China and food pollution in China. Things are not looking too good. And the problem in this lies here. 2008 Summer Games are coming up. China has major issues with pollution. They've already sent out warnings for people not to drink the water. And when it comes to food and air, well, you guys have probably seen pictures of the news of people wearing smog masks, those masks to cover their face, and it's just not a pretty sight. So what we're going to do here is focus in on various stocks that deal with air pollution, and then at the very end, my real baby, my real gem, I'm going to tell you guys what that is and show you charts on that. So let's get right into it. Our first play here is MFRI. Now, you can already see this is a weekly chart. We're going to start out with weeklies and then look at dailies because the bigger move over the longer time frame is in the weekly, and that'll show you that. Now, what I want to make sure everyone understands is that these plays are not short-term plays. You might get a short-term pop out of these, but when we're talking a hot sector, I see these stocks as being the next keys to oil. Meaning that if you guys had all bought oil 10 years ago or whatever, we'd all be millionaires by this point. I mean, the runs in some of these stocks have been so drastic because of the commodity oil and the scarcity, perceived scarcity, I should say, of oil. These stocks have run huge amounts. Now, what's the next sector, you might say? Well, what sector is going to be the next oil, or the next this or that? What has run big in the past? And my thinking is this. It's going to be pollution stocks. You're going to have pollution with air in emerging markets, and in the United States already, but we're beginning to deal with that because of how we see it. Now, emerging markets are just growing so fast that they don't have the things in place to curb the pollution. The United States doesn't necessarily either at this point, but we're still beginning to realize the effects on health, and once you do that, then you really start to try and change it because it becomes a political issue. Alright, so MFRI. Check out the chart. Watch for a move to the double top here. Alright, that's in the near term again. This is on the weekly, so you can have a push up there. When you're talking about long term, I'm expecting a move up here, but you're going to have lots of in-between moves in the next few months. When I'm talking long term, I'm saying years. Okay. You can see here we're going to have a double top probably coming into play here. So if you want to take it for a scalp on of a couple months or something, you're probably going to see around $26 here for a double top. All right, you see the trend line, and this was the buy signal in the weekly here, and you can see how we touched red here on the MACD, and the stochastics, boom, flipped up again, and they're going higher. All right, let's look at the daily on here. The daily shows much of the same, just in a closer point time frame. And you can see again that double top. We might even have a little pullback and then a push to the double top. That's what I would think. We're already very extended past the moving averages here, the 20 moving averages. The trend, the stock price has already gotten too far away from that. So what you're going to see here, you probably a move down here and then a pop back up to that 20. So it's probably a decent play for a short scalp in the short term. So look for that move up to the double top. You can see the positive move here, but now this is looking like it's overbought in the near term on the daily. So again, I want to make sure everyone totally understands this, is that when we're talking about this hot sector, for this week, we're looking at a long time down the road as the next possible big, huge sector like oil. Okay. Now that everyone understands that, we'll check out the MACD here on the daily, and again, positives all the way across. And it looks like a phenomenal play, a longer-term play, though. All right. CECE, CECO Environmental. Again, look at this uptrend it's been in. What an uptrend. Alright, we just bounced off this line. Now this one you could have a nice play upwards. You see, we were overbought here, we came down. Now we're kind of making this little bottom here. We could flip up here, and you're beginning to see a couple green candles right here off this trend line right here. And it's very possible we go up to a double top here as well. So you're talking about a nice gain there. It's possibly a $13 to $16 to $17 move here. Alright, so that's $4 possibly here. Also, you notice the increase in volume. We had a couple big sell days, but you see a nice little sell tail right there. That's a buy signal, all right? And Once you get that signal, you then turn into go long, and you see the following 2 weeks actually, because we're looking at a weekly. So let's make sure we understand that. That's 2 weeks of ups, from basically a low down here of 11 back to 13. Now, this trend was the key line again. It pierced the trend, went up, and again, eventually this will move up to hit the 20, where it'll hit resistance, breaks that 20, it's going back to $16, $17. All right. The only thing I don't like on this chart on the weekly here is we have a negative divergence here on the MACD, and we're very low here on the STOs. But the STOs look like they need to flip up to a buy, as does the MACD. So it's very possible we'll continue back to $14, $15 on this, or at least back to 14, which is a 20, then have a pullback. All right, again, we're talking these environmental stocks, and these environmental stocks, while they're not maybe the big thing right now, I almost can guarantee, and I won't guarantee because I don't want to corner myself like that, but with a secure thought, that's the secure process in my head, I can say these stocks will get hot at one point in the future. It might be a year from now, it might be 2 years, but there will be an issue, probably upcoming Olympics with China, where you're going to see a lot of money flow come into these stocks from hedge funds, from mutual funds, because there's going to be so much news done on the pollution in China. Okay, let's look at the daily of this. Again, you can see this move down, the trend, bounced right off of it. Nice little bounce on the daily here. Nice push. All right. The daily here is actually very nice. You're seeing positive divergences right here. A nice move here, back to the highs on the STO. The STO you want to see get over 80, and then maybe it's looking for like a pullback. So my guess is we'll hit the 20 right here. I mean the 50, I apologize, the 50 right here. At that point, the STO will be above 80, and you'll be looking for a small pullback, and then another push up through the 50, back up to the highs here of $17, $18. So we could see a very large rise, and what you can see here is on the RSI, a very nice move up here too. All right, and it still has some room to run. So again, look for that one to continue its move up. And again, looking at the long term of a year plus, we're looking very bullish on these stocks. All right. Now we're going to go to my best play, and this is something that I think will run huge by next summer. And it might even start as soon as the next week or two or month. So I want you all to keep an eye out of this one. And this one is CLWT. All right. Now, why do I like this one so much, even more than the others? Well, partly because it's not as high on the chart. All right. And second of all, it's a tiny micro cap. Not that the other ones aren't that big, but this is a micro cap, and it deals with water pollution and pollution in China specifically. Okay? Now, what have I been mentioning for the past 5 minutes since I've been talking? We've been talking about the Olympics, pollution in water, how they've already said they don't want people drinking the regular tap water in China when they go to China for the Olympics. This is going to be big, guys. All right? He's talking about this stock, which is a tiny one. This could see $6 to $10 to $20 before the Olympics or into the Olympics next year. You're seeing positive divergences right here. All right, you're seeing a little bounce up here, flip down, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a move up here. Again, we're looking at the weekly chart here, and look at this perfect W formation. All right, this is showing us a very bullish signal here. We expect this to move back up, at which point we'll get a V probably into the summer and another big move up. All right, let's look at the daily. And again, look at the daily. It's even clearer, that W pattern. All right. Look at this nice little trend bottom right here we're hitting. All right, you have a nice little safe haven here. Now, what you can do is you can put, if you do happen to pick this up, or if anything like that, you can look and put a stop right below. All right, if it happens to close below that line, take a small loss and you move out. All right. If, however, it doesn't, you hold on to it, and this thing could run back up 100% easily, if not more, by next summer. All right. So again, you can see in this hot sector report, we're looking at a larger time frame. Look at these positive divergences here on the daily. It just looks fantastic. Same thing with the RSI here. Looks great. All right. So, folks, again, I want to bring your attention to this little one. I love this little play here. This one based on the Chinese Olympics in 08, summer of 08. There's going to be so much media attention drawn to the pollution in China that's getting out of hand. People are getting sick. You're hearing left and right about things like this. This stock will probably be in huge amount of demand by hedge funds. They'll run this thing. I just can't see them not running it. So keep an eye on it and follow it closely, and we will continue to update you over the next weeks to months on these plays to bring you back into focus and let you know how they're performing. All right, folks, I just want to say at the end, I am not an analyst. I do not have any, credentials like that. We are just hardcore traders here who know the technicals, who know everything about stocks left and right, and we are good traders. And, we find things that are phenomenal plays, and they work out, and that's how our reputation has been built. So keep that in mind, but in the long run, watch this one closely. This is going to be a big-time stock. All right, folks, that's your Hot Sector Report for this week. And stay tuned for next week's Hot Sector Report, where we'll focus in on a new sector that could be breaking out or ready to short. Take care, have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you soon.